everybody. Danny and Wanda back from Pecan Grove. Sitting out here today trying to just enjoy the morning as much as we can. We have reached our goal of 20,000 subscribers, and like we told you, we would like to do some giveaways. But before we do the giveaways, maybe we just like to share a little bit with you about how we come to this point here.
Yeah, we are Deepsouth Homestead, Danny and Wanda. We will always be Deepsouth Homestead, Danny and Wanda. But the property at Deepsouth Homestead, we knew that we were outgrowing it, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And we wanted privacy. We wanted a place where we had more land, where the grandkids could come and, you know, we could have woods and Danny could hunt. And we just wanted more land was our biggest goal for the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, and Deepsouth Homestead will not go away, even though we sell the property eventually. Deepsouth Homestead will, like Wanda said, it's who we are. It will not go away. So what happened, I guess, if you want to just put it in a nutshell, Wanda and I knew several years ago, like she said, that we were going to be looking for another piece of property, and we've told y'all we've looked everywhere for a piece of property and basically just quit looking, you know. And when we did, the Lord opened up the door here, and Pecan Grove has become that retirement destination for Wanda and I. Now, it hasn't been an easy journey, let me tell you.
We bought this place a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about this a couple of days ago, how a year and a half, well, in a month, it'll be 2 years since we walked on this property.
Since we walked on the property, yeah.
And we knew from coming down the driveway, I knew automatically that this was it. This is what we were looking for, even though we quit looking. And when we met the guy and he said, come over and look, I was hooked. I mean, I knew this is what I wanted. And we've done a lot of work in a year and a half. I mean, it's been an amazing journey, and we haven't even told you a quarter of it.
Right.
But some of the things that we've done here.
I mean, guys, when we first bought this property, it was all overgrown. This was an operating cattle farm 30 years ago, and the gentleman got rid of his cows about 30 years ago. Another 4 or 5 years after that, he passed away. And it's just been sitting for 30 years. I mean, with no maintenance done to it, except maybe mowed around a little bit around through some open areas.
And around the house.
And around the house. Now, Katrina did a ton of damage here. Lots of timber damage, done damage to the house. With fencing. The owners, well, fencing we was just tore down completely. The owners of the property done some remodeling on the house.
And they had it for 20 years.
Yeah, they kept it for 20 years. And, you know, a lot of people will look at us and go, well, why didn't you just move into the house that was on the property? You know, guys, the house was built in the 1950s. It looks like a 50s house. It was a block home that was just bricked around and 2x4s put on the inside with sheetrock thrown up. Now, the wiring was replaced. You know, it just would have took
multiple structure, not necessarily
lots of structure issues. Yes, there are structure issues because you can't get under the house.
Yeah, you can't get to the plumbing.
Can't get to the plumbing.
To the electrician.
I mean, there's no way to get to anything on it. And I told Wanda, I said, by the time I remodel this house, it's going to cost me as much money as it would to just go ahead and build one.
And we had an elderly gentleman. He was already living in the house.
Yeah.
And he really didn't want to leave. He wanted the property sold, but he didn't want to leave. And we said, look, just stay. For now, just stay.
Well, we were back and forth so much until we couldn't watch everything here. And he agreed to continue to watch everything. And when you move somebody out and a place sits vacant for a while, then that's when you start having trouble with people who want to snoop around and stuff like that. But when nothing really changes, nobody thinks anything about it. And that's what we were kind of thinking, because we knew we couldn't be here all the time.
And from there, we first started, we got a track hoe in. They took the pond out. And I'm going to show you some before and after pictures of different things that happened while we've been here. But the pond was a biggie. We dug the pond out.
That was a big issue. It was only like 3 feet deep, and lily pads covered the whole top completely. Debris had fell all in it. Trees had growed up all around it. I mean, it was a mess.
And now it's a beautiful pond. Danny built a pier, and the grandkids love fishing off of it, and have caught some nice fish.
It's stocked with nice big catfish and brim. And then from that, we began to clear what used to be the old pastures, because I knew the property from 35 years ago. And I told Wanda, I said, you know, we talked about there was a food plot back here in the back, in the woods somewhere. I knew it was just in there somewhere. And I knew there was an old pickup truck in there somewhere that the man hunted out of. Took forever to find that. Then I knew basically where the old fields were at. So I took and got, like Wanda said, we got track hoes and dozers in, started clearing fence rows, land lines. We had it surveyed.
We cleaned up the Pecan Grove. We didn't, when I named it Pecan Grove, all I saw was like these trees behind me you see here.
Yeah, a few pecan trees back here.
On the other side of the property when I was walking, it was all growed up, and I saw little pencil pecan trees, like 4 or 5 of them in a wide, and I'm like, it never dawned on me there'd be big pecan trees, but I knew there had to be a pecan tree in the mix, and right at where the wooden fence we put up was one big pecan tree, so I thought all those little ones was coming from that, and it's on our property.
Yeah, it's on our property.
But it borders the neighbor's property. And we weren't sure at that time till we surveyed, you know, whose property it was on.
Right.
And so I named it Pecan Grove just from walking in the woods and seeing pecan trees. And then we found out that tree was on our property. And then we found the big pecan trees behind it that are huge.
Yeah, I knew the orchard was there because I helped the gentleman trim it 35 years ago.
It looked like a growed up brush pile.
It looked like a forest. You just look in there, you couldn't see any pecan trees. It was just all woods with oak trees, you know, 10 and 12-inch oak trees just growing everywhere in there. And this past year we hired a dozer to come in, and he meticulously took out every one of those oak trees.
And it looks awesome
and
now.
Did not damage the pecan trees, didn't break any limbs out of them or anything. I mean, he did a fantastic job. Gave us tons of firewood. Now it's all growed up in pretty green grass. We were able to keep it bush hogged. The trees have pecans on them this year. It's just amazing what the track hoes have done.
Yeah, and then the barn. Danny wanted a barn on a place. That was one of his things, and there was an old barn, and it was a nice looking barn, but there were issues. And
lots of issues.
Once he got into it, he had to replace wood underneath. We had to take all the stuff out because it was used as a storage.
Yeah.
And we cleaned all that out. Danny redid the flooring.
Well, my heart dropped when we first started going in it because I looked at it, I said, well, it looks pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
And when we cleaned all the stuff that was in it out of it, which, believe me, it was an 18-wheeler load of stuff in it. When we got it all cleaned out, it was just a structure standing there. I got to looking, and termites had gotten into the steps, had gotten into the beams up in it and everything, and I was just like, my heart just sunk. I was like, man, this old barn, oh, you know, but we took all that stuff out, jacked up stuff, went in, replaced boards, and just redone the whole barn, and then added 10 feet onto the back of it, 10 feet onto the side of it.
Made a corral.
Made corrals all around behind it.
Pens inside.
Redesigned the inside of the barn to where it's functional for us.
And we added the chickens and the rabbits to it, plus the cows.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm going to be showing all this in pictures here also. We also did a lot of fencing.
Lots of fencing.
We put up the privacy fence. Now that was one thing because
privacy fence was the biggest issue right off the bat.
Yeah, that was one thing we did, like the first thing.
Not because we have bad neighbors, but because when you look from the blacktop road, you're just looking right through the property from the blacktop road.
And the neighbor's drive went right beside our property. I mean, right beside it.
Within 10 feet of our property line. And I said, look, and the neighbor understood, you know, so we put the privacy fence up, which gives them privacy from us. And that kind of got the fencing started. And then when we started running land lines and pushing and clearing land lines, we started putting up fencing. Guys, I've probably put up already, I don't know, probably 2 miles of fence or more.
At least. Well, maybe more than that, because you've done paddocks.
I got all kind of paddocks.
We haven't got the whole perimeter done yet. We like 2 sides.
I like part of 2. I like 1 whole side and half
of 2 sides.
Of 2 sides.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And so we've got a lot out of 40 acres. We did buy 40 acres. And so we've got a lot of it done on the perimeter, but we've got most of it done in paddocks.
Yeah.
And so we did that. We put a well in.
Yeah, we did,
Built
because
the
it
well
had a
house.
2-inch well on it, but the paddocks are about center ways in the property, and there's no pond on this side of the property. So I told Wanda, I said, we got to have water. So we drilled a 4-inch well about halfway through the property and put it in so we could water the paddocks for the cows from that well. And then we decided, you know,
Put the high tunnel out.
We decided we're going to move us a high tunnel out here. If we're going to eventually live here, we need to go ahead and start putting in some infrastructure. So we got the high tunnel put in. Then I said, well, you know, I can't really start moving anything over here until I have a place for a shop and a place to do my butchering. See, my shop at Deepsouth Homestead, it was a barn, a shop, a processing room. It was everything. And I told Wanda, I said, that's not going to happen here. So we was in town.
We already had the barn.
We already had the barn.
And we went by the place to look, because he knew he didn't want to build the barn. We've been building everything, doing the infrastructure, doing everything ourselves. Mr. D helped us, the man in the house. Chris comes like once or twice a month. Jesse comes my son, every 3 or 4 months. And that's all the help we've had.
Yeah.
Nobody else has helped.
Everything else has been strictly on us.
It's just been us doing this. So when we did the shop, Danny goes, let's run by and see if we can get somebody to put a shop up for us. At least get the structure up. He wanted to do the inside his way. So while there, they had a building that was, I guess it was on sale or whatever.
They had it on sale,
and Danny looked at it and he said, why couldn't we put all our butchering in that building? And I said, well, we could. So we had them deliver that building, and Danny's been remodeling it, and we're going to do a tour of it shortly.
Yeah.
And he's almost got it ready.
I'm almost through with it. I don't like a lot. Well, I don't have the deck on the front and all, but the building itself, I'm almost finished
with. And we're
with.
moving things in and getting things in place. But we bought that, and then we talked to him about the shop. And it was 2 or 3 months before we got the shop. But they come in and they built
they
the
had
shop.
a fantastic crew come in, put the shop up for me. Done a fantastic job. Very, very good people. It's called Anderson Enterprises in Wiggins, Mississippi. On Highway 49, just south of Wiggins. And they done a fantastic job. The crew was outstanding. And I'm saying that because I'm in the construction business and own companies for 26 years. And I watch these guys like a hawk, and they done
things. Danny says, "Hey, I wouldn't even thought to do that."
They went beyond what I would have went. So
they did great.
They did good,
and so
now we have a shop.
And he's been gradually building what he wants in the shop, and we'll do a shop tour in the future when he gets some more done.
Yeah.
But we're also gardening, and we built the 60-foot raised bed.
Yes, we are.
So we've got the cornfield, and the cornfield was. I'll show pictures of what it looked like before and what we did afterward. We had the dozer take out some pine trees to enlarge it. We took up all the raised bed stuff that the elderly guy had and stuff. We cleared all that up, and
I've dug up all the blueberries out of it and moved all the blueberries, relocated them. Yopons, privy, I mean, you name it, tongue nuts, smilax, everything, and we just took it all out of there. Yeah.
And so this property is very rich in resources.
Yes.
Tongue nuts and smilax are two of our
main
curses, I guess you could say, but they have their benefits.
That and wisteria.
And wisteria. And we have videos of all this stuff that I've opened up all the videos that Danny and I did. We didn't do a lot because we didn't intend to show step by step everything.
Right.
So there's just pieces of videos when we thought to make a video because we were enjoying the journey.
Well, most of that stuff that we're doing here is over at Deepsouth. We've done it over there.
Yeah, some of the gardening we did last year.
There's no need in recreating the wheel, you know. So
And so we opened up all the little adventures, I guess you'd say, that we had. And now we're starting to garden here. We've gardened here this year.
Yep.
We gardened last year, but we put it on Deepsouth for the most part.
Yeah.
So that because we weren't gardening at Deepsouth a lot. And so this year it's all been here, except for the
Yep.
high tunnels at Deepsouth. We do have some stuff in there. We pretty much enjoyed the journey.
We have enjoyed the journey here. It's been really
And
nice.
the one thing we haven't really talked about is the camp.
Yeah.
Danny and I decided about a year ago that we did want to put a camp. I had my ideas, he had his ideas, and when I told him, oh, just put a little tiny 14 by 28 or something,
No.
he sat there and he drawed all that out. He was meticulous. He figured all that out. And he said, this ain't gonna work. And I said, well, I don't want you to have to build everything. He said, well, I know, but he kind of, and we couldn't move the cabin. That
No,
was a
the
big,
cabin is a no. It can't be moved.
and so he said, but why can't I incorporate everything I want to incorporate that you and I like into one place and decide this camp based on what we like?
One structure. I told her, I said, we own several homes and several greenhouses and shops and barns. And
He's like, one
I
shop,
said, I want one
barn,
shop, one barn,
one
greenhouse, you know,
one house.
one house. And I said, and what I want to do is I want to incorporate everything into this camp, because we're tired of living in a home like most people live in, you know. I told her, I said, look, you and I both love the outdoors. We love the wild stuff, you know, and all that here. And I said, we like just rustic looking stuff. I said, let's just build a camp.
And so we went to a different company than built the shop,
Yeah,
but we went to them. This happened before we built the shop.
yeah.
And we have used this company before. It was,
Jeff Register.
yes, we used them on the
Farm all barn.
Yes. And so we went to them. They came in and they put up a pole barn. So we have a barn dominium basically,
Yeah.
but it's not like anybody else's
It
barn
ain't like
dominium.
nobody else's, I'll assure you there.
And I will show you what it kind of looked like there at that point. But Danny and I didn't want to do step by step and show barn dominiums and how you do a barn dominium,
No.
and we could have.
Oh, I could
But-
have, but the filming that it takes to do that and the time that I don't
We
have
were
a lot of
working.
time.
And it was hot last summer and
Yes.
all winter, and we were like, we don't have time to stop and do this and do that and make sure it's all up to par. I just decided I want my privacy for now. And in the future, as we finish a room or get a room finished, I might do a snapshot or a walk-in and say, okay, this is what I decided for the bathroom.
Yeah.
Or I might walk in and say, okay, this is what we planned for the living room, or this is what we planned for the bedroom. And we'll give you in a video somewhere, but we're not going to do a step-by-step because
No.
we still look like we have maybe a year's worth of work. I don't know.
If I live to make it through it.
We both are like, okay, we bit off more than we could chew. But we
Yeah.
like the wood, so it will give you hints. It is rustic. It's a lot of wood.
Lots of wood.
And when Mickey and Kathy came last fall, he was bringing us poplar.
Yep.
So that gives you a little hint of why Mickey and Kathy suddenly showed up at Deepsouth and there was no explanation.
Yeah.
And so,
Plus, we have a local guy who cuts some poplars for us.
yes,
So,
we're
but
incorporating all that into it. The metal from the metal structure is going to be incorporated into the inside.
well, the thing about it is I hate sheetrock.
Yeah.
When I say I hate it, I hate it. And I told her, I said, there's not going to be any sheetrock in this house anywhere except around a shower unit, maybe which is about a 2 foot high by a 4 foot area. I said, that's the only sheetrock going to be in this house anywhere, because I don't want to put lumber around that area because of the steam and everything from the shower. I'm going to put the wet or dry sheetrock up there. I told her, I said, other than that, there will be no sheetrock in this whole house, nowhere.
Yeah. And we've had to compromise a lot with what we're doing. And
Yeah.
when we get through, we will show you what a room looks like. We don't have a room finished. I mean,
Nope,
it's all under construction
everything's
right now.
under construction.
And Deepsouth is being painted so that we have it ready.
Well, Deepsouth is
at
being
the same time.
well, Deepsouth's being completely remodeled.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you know, if we sell it, we want it to be in tip-top shape. So we're having the whole house remodeled.
And we are hiring like the painter over there. Danny's going to have to do a lot of the building, so that means we have to stop on one place to work on another.
Yeah.
So lots has been going on behind the scenes, and that's why Deepsouth has just been kind of porch time and a live stream. And
One reason we haven't done a lot of videos,
yeah,
you know, is because I only have so much time in a day, and I'm 60-something years old. You know, I'm midway through the 60s, and guys, look, I get tired now. I used to never get tired, but now I get tired occasionally, especially when the heat out here is like 100-something degrees.
And as he's building and he's redoing, like now he's into his prepper shack and his barn, the camp gets left alone except when I get through with boards.
Yeah.
And I'm doing all the staining, the painting, and everything.
Yeah.
And I swore when we got through with the cabin I wouldn't do that again. And I just inherited a whole year's worth of work. So
when she gets a certain number of boards done, I stop what I'm doing. I come back and I put that up, and then I tell her I layer some more out, and I go back to what I'm doing. And when she gets them done, we're back and forth like that, you know.
So Pecan Grove has been a wonderful experience. Danny and I feel younger, more excited from the time we, in September of 2 years ago, looked at this property. We just had a new kick to our get up and go, didn't we?
Yeah, it just lit a fire under us, you know.
It gave us a reason for wanting to do things. We were doing things at Deepsouth.
Yeah.
But it was also, our heart wasn't in everything. Now the Farmall barn, if he had to say one thing he hates leaving is that barn.
That one thing I hate leaving over there is the barn. Yeah.
And if the barn had been in worse shape, we would have just downed it and put a new barn.
Yeah.
But this one was fixable, and we are going to transform the front part of the barn eventually, so it'll be resembling.
It will resemble the Farmall barn. And this one has an upstairs, you know, I mean, it's a nice barn, everything.
Yeah.
It is old, and that's one thing I like old structures, and that's one thing I did with the Farmall barn was I made it look old. And this one I didn't have to make it look old because it was already old, and that's one thing I liked about it. Plus it has the gambrel top on it.
Yeah, and we didn't do that with the other one.
Yeah.
We kind of wanted to.
Right.
But we just didn't. And so there's a lot going on. There will be more in the future. We've got the cows over here, the chickens and the rabbits. Everything's kind of gravitating over here.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of wanted to catch up on why we were doing things we were doing and why we weren't showing everything.
Yeah, and we're not going to show everything.
No.
I'm going to tell you, we're not going to show everything.
Yeah.
But, like Wanda said, occasionally we may give you a glimpse into our life. And
we will do our gardening, our high tunnels. We will show you the cows, and we will show butchering or cracking pecans, and we'll show you all the life features without showing in detail the whole property, because in this day and time, privacy is a big issue.
Yeah.
And the way things are now, we don't want everybody deciding they can come. They knew where Deepsouth was. And gradually there's going to be people figure out where Pecan Grove is. I know that. But for now, we have our privacy. And I don't think anybody's going to just drive up. That's not even an option.
Well, you're not going to get in here.
Yeah.
Unless you tear something down to get in here.
You might ride on a main road somewhere, but you're not going to just
you might have
walk
to. You'd have
in.
to tear a gate down or cut a fence or something to get in here because it's all gated.
And so we did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Just for our privacy, and when the grandkids are here, they can roam this whole 40 acres, and as long as they don't get over a fence onto somebody else's property, they're in our area. And they don't, well, one family does have that, but the rest of them don't have a lot of land to roam.
Yeah.
So now we wanted to do giveaways, and we did do on Deepsouth. For everybody that's coming from Deepsouth here that hadn't already been here, and for those of you that have been here, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you a lot.
But on Deep South we talked about the kitchen composter from Vego.
Yes.
And it is a nice composter that you can put in your kitchen or your laundry room or wherever and put your scraps in and run it and put those around. Now it is not for just planting in.
It's not aged compost.
Yeah.
It's compost that can be put in a
Like a
bed
fertilizer.
like a fertilizer.
Yeah, so you have to be careful with it. You don't just go dumping it all, big humps all over your stuff. Or you can mix it in with your dirt and to create a good compost.
Yeah.
I've got a list.
We got a list here.
Now we told y'all we were giving one away. Actually,
we're going to give two away.
Two away. And we've already chose the winners for those. And one of them is Fran Paterno 486.
Fran Paterno 486.
And the other is Stephen Scott 3435.
I think that Stephen Scott 3435, those are the two people that we have chose to receive a Vego composter.
Now y'all will have to send me an email with your address, and I will have Vego send one of you one, and Danny and I will send the other one out, and so there will be two that will be given out. Now we have a few more giveaways we want to do, and in this one you're going to have to comment in the comments. Now one of them, Danny's daughter, is doing our t-shirts, and you can see here I have one of the Pecan Grove t-shirts on. We have Pecan Grove and Deep South t-shirts, and so we're going to be giving away 2 t-shirts and a tumbler. I'm going to let y'all pick which t-shirt you like, so you're going to have to go to Carrie's site, which is rusticcharmfields.etsy.com, and I'm going to link it in the first comment so that y'all can find it, and y'all can go look at all the shirts and all the tumblers. And so we're going to be giving away 2 shirts, 1 tumbler. Danny's giving away.
I'm going to give away, I don't know, we're going to go like 4 packs of Danny corn. 4 different people is going to receive a pack of Danny corn.
Yes. And then the other thing is, from Vego, I'm going to give away a 6-in-1 novel raised bed. Now, I've got a video coming up that Danny and I are going to show the novel raised bed here on Pecan Grove. I think I showed it on Deep South when we put it together. I'll try and link it in the description, how Danny put the thing together and all this stuff. But these novel raised beds are going in front of the camp. I've had the first 2 for a couple of, 3 or 4 months.
About 3 or 4 months, yeah.
And the flowers and stuff have flourished in them. They have done amazing, and I like the pearl white color. So, but you can choose your own color. Whoever who wins the Vego 6-in-1 novel bed, they can choose their own color. It doesn't matter. You can go to Vego's site, and I'll put it in the first pinned comment also, so that you can look. But what I want you to do is, in the comment, make a comment saying, I would like. This is how it needs to start off. I would like, and then you list one item. Don't list them all, or don't say I'd like anything, because I'm going to just ignore that one. If you say I would like a t-shirt, go over to Carrie's site, pick the t-shirt out, and tell me which t-shirt. If you would like the Vego 6-in-1 raised bed, say I would like the raised bed.
What color?
And they can tell me that in the email later. That doesn't matter. Sizes and all that. You don't have to put that on this. If you would like Danny corn, say I would like Danny corn. But don't put Danny corn t-shirt, tumbler, whatever. And Carrie has tumblers, and we're going to do 1 tumbler. So I would like a tumbler. And on her site, if she's got 2 or 3 of the tumblers up, pick which one. That helps me know what you guys are interested in. That helps Carrie know, because she got in a supply of shirts. She bought a bulk order, and she didn't know. She's just guessing at this point what people like.
Yeah.
And we thought the raised beds are awesome. The 6-in-1s is what I like in front of the camps.
So y'all have heard everything that we have in the giveaways and how we want it done. So make sure you follow the rules and enjoy the journey with us here at Pecan Grove. Guys, We're going to actively be doing more stuff here, Lord willing. Things don't go crazy on us. We're going to try to get as much done as we can. And we're going to, the rooster's crowing. And we're going to try to take y'all along on as many of the journeys as we can. So continue to watch and hit that notification button so that when we put up the videos, you'll be able to see what we're doing here at Pecan Grove.
Thank you so much for subscribing over here.
She beat me to it.
Because we never know with the videos when Deep South may go away. We're keeping that one up and we're still using Deep South. But we've had several videos pulled. Well, not pulled. I shouldn't say it that way. We had several videos demonetized because of things that Danny said.
Because of things I said. Okay.
And he does hope in the future to have, just in case, some type of talk here at Pecan Grove.
I would like to do something here similar to what Porch Time is over there.
And it might be Porch Time at Pecan Grove. Who knows? If they pull Deep South, then we would, because they're actively taking channels down for the craziest little blips.
Now, we have one subscriber who made a very interesting comment about that. They said, Danny, maybe it's not the content that you're putting out there that's going on in the world. Maybe it's the religious side as to why they're actually taking them down. And I said, well,
that is an issue.
That is an issue. So we'll be looking into it to see what we can do and see how far we can go, what we can get away with. So,
and we're going to do it as long as we can do it.
That's it. We're going to do it as long as we can. Anyway, guys, have a blessed day, and thank you from Pecan Grove.